really concerning because actually, who are the victims? We are talking about young Black people, including children, that are the victims. It's not just, a violence discourse and hoping to have a police that's more present in the streets and frightening people. So Sao Paulo is the biggest city of Brazil, and violence and public security was always a challenge in the Sao Paulo state, and police had a very bad record on lethality and cases of abuses. If you look in the timeline, there was a moment that the police lethality was going down and down, especially because the police forces was implementing internal measures to control police lethality. And after that, especially, and there's a very important figure that was the responsible for this turning point. That's when Governor Tarcísio de Freitas, he was elected and he started his administration in January 2023. So after that, he started implementing a lot of measures, but also was being vocally defending a very violent police force, and also disregarding evidence of what was really working to control police lethality, like the use of body cams. So really disregarding evidence and promoting a populist discourse, but also populist administration in terms of public security. And he appointed as his public security secretary, Guilherme de Ricci. He's also a very important person in this authority and one of the direct responsibles for this increase of police lethality in Sao Paulo, because he's a former he is a policeman, and he was appointed by Tarcísio de Freitas, the governor, because the governor was elected with the support of Bolsonaro, the former Brazilian president. That was one of these authoritarian populist leaders here, and he wanted to show to part of his electoral supporters that he would be, tough in public security. But again, disregarding evidence and disregarding everything that was working to have a better control of criminality rates and also police lethality rates. But there was a change in Sao Paulo in the November last year, in the end of 2024, because the population in Sao Paulo said, no, this is not working, because there was a number of cases showing that this lack of control of police forces and this lack of violent control was actually leading the society to an inhuman situation, which was not actually facing criminality. So it wasn't really being effective to what the population really aims, which is a legit wish to live in a safe place without urban violence. So I think these cases were also another turning point. So first you had the authorities providing a more violent situation by dismantling internal controls like the use of body cams. And after that, there was, I hope, another turning point when society was asking authorities what's going on, because all the images spreading around on cases of police violence, you probably saw there was a police officer throwing a man from the bridge. Yeah, there was a medicine student. He was unarmed, but he was shot by two police officers. So even after all the pressure suffered, and even after he's saying that he recognized there were mistakes, he didn't revoke that decree yet.
So you're sort of waiting to see if they're going to follow through with actions, to see if
So I think this is the moment, but so far we couldn't see any concrete gesture showing that the governor actually is changing
Okay.
what he's been doing so far. And the fact that the secretary is still in charge, like Guilherme is still the secretary, it's a very concrete example that, well, he's not really committed to changing anything, the governor. He was a police officer. He gave an interview. It's there. You can watch it, saying that a good cop had to have at least 3 murders in his CV. But it's not just social media, appearance and interviews, because for the law enforcement officer, it's understood as an order. So what can be seen just, oh no, he was just giving a populist statement. When you're talking to the troop, when you're talking to the police officer, it was understood as an order. And there's a lot of interviews of, police officers that they didn't want to be identifying. If you go through this in the Brazilian press, saying, we understood that as an order. It's really about the leaders and the authorities that are in charge at the moment on deciding to implement, and also these external forces like the Ministério Público to be aware of their constitutional obligation of doing the external control of police forces. So, and we are operating here in Brazil in a very racist context. So there is a very important organization in Brazil called Instituto Sou da Paz and for Peace Institute. They publish that from every 3 people killed by the police, 2 are Black.